have you ever stood up in front of a class and asked a question and got nothing in return? The sea of faces looking back at you, looking nervous and uncomfortable, and you know that at least one of them knows the answer. As the educator, you may feel frustrated, confused, and even annoyed. I know when I've been stood in front of a group of learners and I know that they know the answer to a question I asked, but no one's answering. It feels like pulling teeth and it can really throw me off. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from MyProgression, and today we're going to look at how we encourage a culture of participation in our classrooms, why it's important, what causes a lack of participation, and some helpful strategies to encourage whole class to get involved. So what is participation? Participation means the action or state of taking part in something. It's an active verb, and alternative words or synonyms are involvement, taking part, engagement, and sharing, to list a few. We know that teaching and learning involves people participation, so we really do need to promote and encourage this. Participation in the classroom will look like children with their hands up to answer questions that their teacher has asked, children asking questions and responding to the learning, children engaged in the work set in class as well as at home in the form of homework. Participation is active engagement, and from this the teacher will assess that the class has understood what has been taught, and if done well, if they don't understand, they'll have the confidence to ask for help or a further explanation. Students' feedback is an effective tool for teachers' evaluation of what's going on in their classroom and how effective their own teaching is as well. Students' responses act as an assessment tool. You can assess the understanding of the class in a particular topic and then address any misconceptions. Responses can indicate a misunderstanding, which can often reflect a misunderstanding of more than one pupil. I always think that if someone says they don't understand, there'll be at least 5 or 6 others who don't too. That's good to know, as then you can reteach using an alternative approach. Consistent questioning and responses lead to an effective and valuable learning experience for the pupil, as well as a successful and valuable teaching experience. So when pupils don't respond or appear passive and disengaged, how do we feel? I know that I would feel a little frustrated, possibly a little impatient. So how do we encourage a responsive and active learning classroom? Well, there'd be little point in getting cross with the class, as it would just create a negative learning environment as well as impact your relationship with your students. So what is the key to creating and building an environment which is controlled, but where pupils also feel they can take part and have a voice? In the early years of a child's education, children often appear to be enthusiastic and want to share their thoughts and ideas. In EYFS and Key Stage 1, we spend a lot of time modelling how to answer and respond appropriately. Shouting out the answer is commonplace, and we train children to participate and respond in an orderly way. Younger children seem to have fewer inhibitions and participate freely, usually with great enthusiasm. As children progress to Key Stage 2, this enthusiastic and exuberant participation begins to wane slightly, and we perhaps note the more confident pupils dominating discussions, whilst those who may be shy or a little nervous take a back seat. It's therefore key to be aware of this and encourage all class participation. There are many whole class strategies that are used to encourage equal participation. Lolly sticks with names on, interactive name choosing programs, as well as techniques like cold calling. In Key Stage 3, children usually change schools and are also mixed with new pupils from other primary settings. It's also a time of great hormonal upheaval as adolescence begins. Talking to a number of secondary teachers, they report it can be challenging to get response when questioning or responses are given by the same children constantly, so the rest of the class sit back and quietly rely on their peers. And I think we can all relate to being on a training course where you don't know many people, and you take your time before feeling comfortable to fully join in. There's no difference for children. At the start of secondary or high school, pupils are constantly dealing with new classrooms and a variety of teachers, a range of subjects where confidence and knowledge will vary, as well as different peers in each class. That is a lot to deal with. Is that quiet pupil with their friends? Are they sat next to that person who they find a little bit intimidating? There's so much to navigate. So when we face unresponsive pupils, how do we feel? So from a teacher's perspective, it can be so frustrating when faced with a set of unresponsive faces and no acknowledgement of understanding. Do you get simply frustrated, or have you got strategies that you can pull on to change the atmosphere in your learning environment? We would love to hear from you about your experiences of classroom participation. Do you have any tips to share with us or to help us support our learners and teachers in their learning environments? Why not drop a comment in the box below? And whilst you're there, like, subscribe and click on the bell to keep hearing more from MyProgression. So how do we promote participation in our classrooms? How do we encourage appropriate responses? Getting to know your classes and pupils and building good relationships with pupils will be key to a healthy classroom environment. Now this does take time, as I'm sure you will agree, and those first few weeks of a new school year or with a new class is the time when you try to get to grips with this. So we need to build a classroom environment where pupils feel safe to speak, to have a voice, to make comment and ask questions. Think about what we as adults need to have in place in order to feel able to take part in group discussions. We need to feel safe, respected, valued and listened to. As educators, we need to consider the pupils and how we respond to them as soon as they enter the learning environment. A welcome and a smile with clear boundaries, often decided upon together as teacher and class, will really support a good start to the relationship. You set the tone of your classroom. You'll respond differently to different classes and year groups, and so have to adapt constantly to make sure that your classroom atmosphere creates a positive learning space. It's so important that you create an environment where your pupils feel it's okay to make mistakes. See our video on making mistakes linked in the comments below for more on how to do this. So here are 8 strategies to create classroom participation. Number 1, set the scene. When first meeting your pupils, how do you set the scene of your classroom learning space? As previously mentioned, welcoming and respectful, friendly and safe are what we all respond well to. It'll be about balance, being in control as the teacher, but allowing the children to have their place within the class. Setting clear guidelines and boundaries will help do this. Deciding on the classroom rules together will give some ownership to the pupils, and they're more likely to abide by them if they've had some input. This activity in itself will be a really good icebreaker too. Number 2, where are your pupils sat? Are they comfortable and happy with the seating arrangement? Do you allow pupils to sit with their friends, or have you set an order in which you use? Are you going to have a more responsive classroom if pupils are sat next to the people they're comfortable with, or will this be a hindrance? Again, knowing your class will help you decide upon this. As the children grow in confidence in responding, you can change things about. It's your classroom and you can work with it to ensure that you have maximum participation. Number 3, use simple check-in questions that require a whole class response with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Number 4, give pupils a little thinking time to process the question and think about the answers they could give. As teachers, we are constantly questioning, is it too much? Do we bombard pupils? Some thinking time will support and promote greater participation. Use phrases like, give yourself 10 seconds to think about the answer to this. Number 5, when teaching a lesson that needs discussion and verbal participation, the use of paired talk initially can help children to gain confidence in responding. You could then move towards group discussions, building up confidence for class discussions. Having roles within groups, such as a spokesperson, can support the quieter members of the group, but also model good oracy and participation skills while keeping a note of who takes on each role and change who is the spokesperson. Number 6, prepare pupils and signpost. I'm going to ask Dana, Jack and Jordan to respond to the following questions after you've discussed it in your groups. Number 7, non-verbal responses through the use of individual whiteboards or written answers are a great way of getting all pupils involved, and also a quick and easy way for teachers to assess knowledge. This resource can be used to write quick answers or even for children to draft written responses. If there are mistakes, the whiteboard is quickly and easily wiped or the mistake rectified. The use of a whiteboard can support learning and assessment of the learning quickly, as well as allowing all children to have some active participation. And number 8, get them used to it. Try an opening question where everyone has to answer. This could be as simple as, what do they have for breakfast? Or what's everyone's favourite colour for the little ones? You could try a quick hands up if you agree with this statement. And then ask the people who agree or not, why? Make it easy, to the point, and a question they can enjoy answering. I am sure there are many other strategies to get your classes to respond and participate, and we would love to hear from you. In any situation, either classrooms being overly exuberant or the opposite and very passive, it is down to us as practitioners to manage these situations. Good classroom management and good relationships, along with a range of strategies to implement this, will help our pupils and us as educators to succeed. I've been Natalie from MyProgression, and if you want to see more videos on working in education, then check out our channel. And let's keep your career in motion.